So these are the materials that we need to make our project. So firstly we are going to make the base of the pot. So to make it, we are going to make a magic ring and then we are going to chain 1. And now we are going to insert total of 8 single crochets into this magic ring. So once you are done with making 8 single crochets, now we are going to slip stitch into the very first stitch that you can see, that is right there, and we are going to make a slip stitch. Now to start with our new row, we are going to chain 1 and we are going to make 2 single crochets into each stitch. So in total we should be having a total of 16 single crochets. So just repeat the process of making 2 single crochets in each stitch, and once you reach to your 16th single crochet, now we are going to slip stitch into the very first stitch and we are going to chain 1 to start with our new row. So after chaining 1 for row 3, now we are going to make 1 single crochet into the first stitch and we are going to make 2 single crochets into the very same stitch, and we are going to repeat this process of making 1 single crochet into the first stitch and then again 2 single crochet into the next. So for round 3 you will be having a total of 24 single crochet. Now for round 4 we are going to chain 1 and we are going to insert 1 single crochet into the first stitch and then again 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and into the third stitch we are going to insert 2 single crochets. So we are just going to repeat this process until the end, and in total you should be having 36 single crochets for this row. And once you reach your 36th single crochet, now we are going to slip stitch into the first stitch, and now we will start for round 5. So we'll chain 1 and we are going to insert 1 single crochet into the first stitch and 1 single crochet into the next stitch and 1 single crochet into the third stitch, and into the fourth stitch we are going to include 2 single crochets. So we are just going to repeat this process until the very end, and in total we should be having 40 single crochets for this round. So lastly we are going to slip stitch and chain 1. Now for row 6 we are going to make single crochets in every stitch until the very end, and please note that we are not going to make any increases in this round, so we will be having a total of 40 single crochets for this round as well. So lastly we are going to slip stitch and we are going to chain 1. So our round 6 is complete. Now for round 7 we are going to work on these back stitches that you can see. So we are going to make single crochets in these. So firstly we are going to make 1 single crochet into the first stitch, then again 1 single crochet into the next stitch, then again 1 single crochet into the third stitch. Similarly we are just going to make 40 single crochets for this round as well. So lastly we are just going to slip stitch and we are going to chain 1. Now for round 8 we are going to make single crochets across the stitches like we did for our round 6. So in total we should be having 40 single crochets, and lastly we are going to slip stitch and we are going to chain 1 to start with our new row. Now for round 9 to round 17 we are going to do the same thing that we did in round 8. So we are going to make single crochets in all the stitches, and make sure you should be having 40 stitches in total, and lastly we are going to slip stitch and chain 1 to start with our new row. So repeat this process until the last row. So for round 18 we are going to make decreases. So for the first stitch we are going to make 1 single crochet and then again 1 single crochet, and for the third 4 stitches we are going to make decrease. So to make decreases you have to make incomplete single crochet for the 2 stitches. So just go on repeating this process until the end, and lastly we are going to slip stitch and we are going to chain 1. So for round 19 we are going to skip the first stitch and we are going to insert 5 double crochets into it. After making 5 double crochets into the same stitch, now we are going to skip the very first stitch that is near to it and we are going to insert one single crochet into the second stitch. And now we are going to skip 2 stitches and now we are going to insert 5 double crochets into this third stitch. And again we will be skipping one stitch and into the next stitch we will be inserting one single crochet. So just repeat this process of this pattern and lastly you are just going to slip stitch top of your yarn. So this is how your pot will look like. Now we will be working on the base of the flower pot. So for that we are going to insert our yarn just like that and we are going to chain one. And now we are going to make single crochets here. So we are going to make single crochet into the first stitch and again one single crochet into the next stitch and then again one single crochet into the next stitch and one single crochet into the next stitch. Similarly you have to make 40 single crochets and lastly you have to make slip stitch and you have to chain one and you have to chop off the yarn. Lastly just secure it properly. So this is how the finished look will look. So let's hide this tail also. So finally our pot is ready. Now we are going to make the soil for the pot. So for that we are going to make magic ring and again we are going to insert 8 single crochets into this magic ring. So just repeat the process like you did for the base of the pot. You're going to repeat the process until row 6. After making one complete round of 40 single crochets, lastly we are going to slip stitch and we are going to chain one and cut the yarn. So our soil is ready. So we are going to hide this tail inside and we are going to sew this using our sewing needle. So just go on securing it like I am doing and lastly stuff some cotton inside it. And our pot is packed with the soil now. So this is how your pot will look like. Now we are going to make rows for our pot. So to make it we are going to make a slip knot and we are going to make chains into it. So we are going to make a total of 42 chains for our rows and into the third stitch from the hook we are going to make double crochet. So just go on making double crochets into the chains until the end. So to start with our new row we are going to chain 2 and turn our work and now we are going to make one double crochet into the same stitch and we are going to chain 2 and make one double crochet again into the same stitch. So you are just going to get this V-shaped pattern and again we are going to skip 2 stitch and we are going to make one double crochet and then again chain 2 and make one double crochet into the same stitch. So just go on repeating this pattern until the very end. So once you reach the end of the row, now we are going to chain 2 and turn our work and we are going to insert a total of 6 double crochet into the V shape that you made. And after making 6 double crochets into the following stitch, we are going to make 1 single crochet. Similarly, we are going to make cluster of double crochets and single crochets across the end. So after finishing the last stitch, lastly we are going to chain 1 and cut the yarn. So we will be making a total of 2 rows like this. So here I am showing you how we are going to roll it up. This is how your rose will look. Now we are going to make the bird of the rose. So we'll start by making a magic ring and we are going to chain 1. Now we'll insert a total of 6 single crochets into this magic ring. And after making your 6th single crochet, now we are going to slip stitch into the very first stitch and we are going to chain 1 to start with our new row. So we are going to insert 1 single crochet in each stitch until the end. So in total we will be having 6 single crochets. And lastly we are going to slip stitch into the first stitch and we are going to chain 1 and again we are going to make 6 single crochets. So just repeat this process of your row 2. So we will be making 3 rounds of plain single crochets that should be having 6 single crochets in each row. So here we are on our 5th row. So we are going to make decreases over here. So we are going to make half single crochets and then completely pulling off the yarn in one go. So we are going to do it at least for 3 times. So the purpose of doing this is to close the area. So lastly we are closing it off by making half single crochets and just go on doing in the same way like I am doing here. So in case if you are finding problem while going with your hook, you can use your needle for the help. Lastly, to close off everything, we are going to chain 1 and cut the yarn. So finally our bird is ready. So now we will work for the smaller rows. So to make it, we are going to make a chain of 32 and now we are going to skip the first 2 stitch and we will be making double crochets starting from the 3rd stitch to the last stitch. So once you reach the end, we are going to chain 2 and turn our work. Now we are going to make 1 double crochet into the next stitch and then again we are going to chain 2 and put 1 double crochet into the same stitch. So we are going to make the V pattern here again. So just repeat the process like you did for the bigger rows. So we are just going to do the same thing over here. So once you reach the end after making the V shapes, so lastly we are going to chain 2 and then again we are going to turn our work and so we'll be inserting 5 double crochet this time. And after that in the next stitch we are going to insert 1 single crochet. So just repeat the pattern till the end. and lastly we are going to chain 1 and cut the yarn. So here is a little comparison on how your roses will turn out. Now we'll proceed to make the sepal of the roses. So to make it, we are going to make a magic ring and then we are going to chain 1 and we'll be inserting a total of 10 single crochets into this magic ring. Please try to keep the hole in between because we'll be inserting our wire in here. So we need to have some gaps there. So lastly we are going to slip stitch into the very first stitch and we are going to chain 1. So here we are going to make chains for at least 4 more times. So in total there will be 5 chains. So the steps after that is, firstly you have to do slip stitch, then 1 single crochet, then you have to make 1 half double crochet, then you have to make 1 double crochet, and after that, after skipping the first stitch that you see, into the next stitch you are going to make a slip stitch right there. So this is our first leaf of the sepal is done, and again we are going to chain 5 and repeat the same pattern we did here. So after finishing the 5th leaf you have to cut the yarn and just secure everything properly. So this sepal was for the bird. Now we are going to make sepal for the roses. So to make it we are going to make magic ring and chain 1, then again we will be inserting a total of 10 single crochets. So while making the single crochets you have to remember that we have to keep a little hole in here so that it doesn't go so tight because we have to put our wire. And after that we are going to slip stitch into the first stitch, and from here we are going to make chains. So there will be a total of 8 chains, and after making 8 chains, so the pattern will be, first you are going to make a slip stitch, then you are going to make 1 single crochet, and then we are going to make 1 half double crochet, and then 1 double crochet, again 1 double crochet. Just keep on making your double crochets. So lastly you have to skip the first stitch and you have to look for the second stitch and slip stitch. So this is the pattern that you are going to follow till the end. So you will be having a total of 5 petals for your sepal. So lastly chain 1 and chop off the yarn, and you will be making 2 of these. Now we are going to make the leaves. So to make it we are going to make a slip knot, and from here we are going to make chains. So there will be a total of 10 chains, and after making your 10th chain you have to make single crochets. So in total you will be having 9 single crochets. So after making your 9th single crochet, now we have to take our wire and we will be making 1 single crochet in the same stitch, and into the next stitch we are going to make 1 half double crochet, then 1 double crochet, then 1 triple crochet. So there will be 3 triple crochets. you have to make one double crochet, then one half double crochet, and after that one single crochet. So now we are going to make chain 2 and slip stitch into the first stitch to make the peak so that our leaf looks pointy. So now we are going to work on the other side. So just repeat the process. So we'll be making one single crochet firstly, and then one half double crochet, and after that one double crochet, and after that 3 triple crochets. Now again one double crochet, then one half double crochet, then one single crochet, and lastly slip stitch into the first stitch, into the last stitch, and close it off just like that, and cut the excess yarn. So now just secure everything properly, and we'll just wind this up in the wire by using our glue gun, and we'll cut the excess wire with our cutter. Now we are going to cut some length for the roses. So one should be small and the other one should be a little bigger. So here is the measurement that I kept. So here I'm showing you the final look after winding the leftover thread over the wire. So this is how they will look. So we'll make 3 leaves like that. So here is the quick look of how I used to secure my roses. So just follow the process of putting glue gun, of using your glue gun, and so just follow the process of using your glue gun over the roses and just pasting everything properly. And here is the wrong side of the sepal that we are going to paste, just like the way I'm doing. And finally we are going to wrap the green yarn just like that so that it looks greenish, and make sure everything is well secured, so you can put some glue gun in between also. And finally we are done with the rose, and here is the way that I like to do for the bird part. So this is how I'm doing it. So just secure everything and repeat the process like you did for the roses. So this is the smaller sepal that we are using here. Now again we are going to wrap the green yarn over the stem part, and make sure over here we have to put the roses also. So you have to check the length where you have to put it. So just go on checking it to the length that you like it, and then wrap the yarn together. So this is the way that you have to wrap everything so that it is well secured. And lastly you have to put the leaves. You can put wherever you like. This is how I like to do it. And lastly you have to use your smaller rose and just wrap and go to the last, and you have to secure it using your glue gun. When you are wrapping, you have to make sure that you are wrapping it in a tighter way, because you have to secure everything very tight here. And lastly, we are using our glue gun to secure our yarn. Now lastly, we are going to put some glue in the end and just put it inside our pot. So this is how it will look.